Hi, good morning, happy Sunday, and welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir, and this is looking like a good day already. The sun is shining, the weather is nicely cooling down. I mean, last week we were in a hot weather, and this week, obviously, now we know the fall is here already. It's becoming nice and nippy and cool. Let me shut this off. The subject for today's video is the upcoming elections. For those who did not know, or those who are not interested in elections or what's happening in Canada, well, obviously there is elections around the corner. Actually, it's just 2 weeks from now, almost. The sitting Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, called for this snap election, and we want to discuss this because a lot of people have all kinds of things in their mind as to what will happen with the elections. How does it affect the immigration? Does it make it more difficult? Does it make it easier? So what I'm going to do is it's going to be a short one. So we're going to put together a brief understanding of what different parties that are vying for the Prime Minister's seat or the governance in Canada, what are they saying, what their understanding is, what their platform is saying, what their campaign is saying, what their manifesto is. Okay. Disclaimer, I am not affiliated with any political party, and whatever I'm saying is my own personal views, my own personal opinion, and obviously that cannot be taken as something which is official or legal in any which manners. Okay, so that was the disclaimer, which is very important when you discuss something, something of this sort. So what I have done is I have made a brief presentation which we will go through. I'll give you considering quite a few of you might not be familiar with the parties and what all happens with the election. We'll just go very briefly through what is the Canadian parties and what their names are. And then we will go through individual parties, a platform agenda or a platform manifesto to say what they think about immigration. Okay, so this basically is what we will go with. Let me just get rid of this. Okay. And with this, what I have is that, okay, where is it gone? Here it is. Yes, so elections 2021, and the election day is on the 20th of September 2021, and that's just around the corner, about 2 weeks from now. That's when the Canadians will choose a different or same government, and we don't know how it's going to look like. As of right now, the exit polls are a bit in the favor of the Conservatives, not particularly what the Liberals thought would look like, but that's how it's looking like. But then you know about exit polls, right? Things can go any direction. There are almost 7-8 political parties in Canada. The two main ones, the Liberals and the Conservatives, are the only ones who have formed a government in Canada. The others have not formed a government, but they obviously are key players. So we will start with basic understanding who the Liberals, basically, I'm sure you already know. The current Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is the party leader for the Liberals. The other party, which is also has formed the government in the past, but they are also quite, they're basically right-centric. And that's the Conservative Party. The party leader at this point of time is Erin O'Toole. When the last elections happened in 2019, Andrew Scheer was the Conservative Party leader. The third party of prominence, which also is part of the coalition of the current sitting government, Liberals actually got the minority in 2019, minority vote. So they formed a coalition with the NDPs, which is the New Democratic Party, and the party leader is Jagmeet Singh. And along with them is what they formed the current government, which was obviously dissolved. The party was, the sitting cabinet was dissolved because they called for the snap elections. The other three parties that are also of relevance in some way or the other is the Green Party, who the party leader is Annemie Paul. The Bloc Québécois, pardon my French, I'm not that fluent, but Québécois is how they pronounce it, I think. And then the party leader is Yves-François Blanchet. And that party is primarily based in Quebec, as the name is quite, giveaway on that one. the sixth party that I want to talk. We won't give too much of talk to this one, but still, this is the People's Party of Canada by party leader is Maxime Bernier. Quite controversial in 2019 for some of the comments, for some of the hoardings that they put out there, and they actually did not win any seat at all in 2019. This is an independent party, but we will talk about them in a very, very brief manner, just to sort of give you an opposition perspective, or other opposite perspective of what the other parties are talking about. Primarily, that's the pictures. I mean, I'm sure you can make out. The first one is Justin Trudeau. Second one is Erin O'Toole. Then it is Yves Francois Blanchet of the Québécois Party, and then Jagmeet Singh of the NDP. And these basically are the party leaders, as we have spoken about. What exactly is going on? I mean, a lot of people say so many things. If liberals were going to come, then this is what's going to happen. Some actually, yesterday's when I did my live session, we were talking about the weekly roundup. Someone even asked if the elections is the reason why there are so many backlogs, why there are applications still stuck in the process, and for some reason there was a belief, or there is some sort of a speculation, that it's the elections which is causing the backlog. Well, let me just first quash that rumor out, that elections has nothing to do with the backlog. There is something else which is going on, and it has been ongoing for the last year and a half, probably now coming to almost 2 years, and that is the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, that is the reason for the backlog. Direct, absolute, straightforward reason why there has been such a severe backlog, such severe hold-ups, obviously federal skilled worker draws getting affected, etc. But we will talk about that in a bit. But sticking to today's discussion and about the political parties, let me take you to the first one that I'm going to talk about, and that is the Liberals. Okay, and that's don't have to worry about their platform pages. All the description will be mentioned below, so you don't have to worry about all that. Now, what are liberals saying? So liberals didn't really, if you were to go to their platform website, they didn't really declare anything specific directing or talking about immigration as such. At least I didn't find anything specific, but obviously they are going to continue with what they have been doing. In 2015, Justin Trudeau called for 25,000 Syrian refugees, and he accepted them when there was a huge crisis in Syria. This year, they have also already announced and promised to resettle 20,000 Afghans, and that is also quite significant, considering what's happening in that country at this point of time. They obviously are going to continue with, or rather they were the ones who have released such large numbers, immigration quota numbers, targets for this last year, this year, coming year. We are looking at about 1.2 million immigrants to come to Canada under their released immigration quotas and plans. By and large, nothing significant different was what they announced for this particular campaign. One thing that they did talk about is that they would try and fast track a lot of work permit programs which have been sort of lagging back. Not to forget, liberals did do some good work as far as immigration is concerned. First and foremost, what a lot of people don't know and they are worried about is that if a different government will come, Express Entry will shut down, Express Entry will close down. Well, that's not the case, because it was the Conservatives who basically were the brainchild behind the Express Entry system. And they were the ones who designed the system at the time when immigration was in 2012, 2013. Harper government was there. Jason Kenney was the immigration minister. Okay, without a doubt, they made some draconian and primitive measures. They did all that, but the credit should go to them for Express Entry. For some reason, it usually comes down to the Liberals for taking the credit for Express Entry. Actually, it's not so. The previous government before the Liberals were the Conservatives. At that point of time, there was this idea of developing a proper system and putting a system in place for handling the permanent residence applications, which was taking significantly longer. It was taking, at that point of time, if there are people there, 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12, it was taking 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, sometimes even 5 years for a PR application to be processed. So right now, when people complain about 6 months delay, 8 months delay, 10 months delay, it sometimes feel funny, because just a few years back, 4 years was something which was quite normal, right? And people would happily wait for that. But it was the Conservatives who basically came up with the whole express entry design and everything. It was launched on the 1st of January 2015. By that time, Liberals were coming into the power, and there were some things in the express entry system which the Conservatives had put in, but which the Liberals changed. One of them was the age for dependent children. Earlier, it was 18 years, okay, which was again considered. Earlier, it was 22 years. It was pushed back to 18 years by the Conservatives. Then again, it was brought back to 22 years as it is applicable right now by the Liberals. So these kind of policy changes, decision changes, system changes continue to happen. This is part of governance, right? So each government will bring with them their own ideology, their own understanding on how they would like to govern the way they want to. Also another difference that Liberals made with the express entry system was that they brought in the sibling points, which were not there before. They also brought the French points that were not there before. Liberals can also take credit for several other programs that they did bring into play, and you see RNIP was there doing, I think to an extent, the global talent stream, which basically processes some work permit applications quite fast. You can actually get them approved within 2 to 3 weeks time, including the LMIA for that, for the GTS, the global talent stream. That is also, I mean, the credit for that can also be taken by the Liberals. Another thing that Liberals can take credit for would be the multi-year plan for immigration. Earlier, it was for each year. In October, they would announce the next year's immigration plan. Liberals took it and took it to 3-year plan, which basically gives them more flexibility, or it gives IRCC more flexibility in then going about doing their business. In addition to that, as I said, RNIP, Rural Northern Immigration Pilot, and then the AIPP, Atlantic Immigration Pilot, that credit for those programs can also be taken by the Liberals, in addition to the agro-food industry. So the Liberals have been actively involved in doing a lot of work for immigration in terms of, giving different sectors, different segments of the workforce an opportunity to become permanent residents in Canada. Mind you, earlier it was 4 years of living in Canada, residing in Canada, and 6 years to become a citizen, or rather to be eligible to apply for citizen. That was again changed, credit to the Liberals, to bring it down to 3 years. That is 1,095 days of residence in Canada to now become citizens. So they have done some great work, but right now, obviously, they're taking a lot of flack for how IRCC has been going about managing the business. 2 years, almost 2 years later, but let's say a year and a half of pandemic, and we are still struggling in terms of putting together a good plan in place of handling the applications. So in that way, I think they're taking a lot of flack. Parents, grandparents, immigration has always been a very, very important agenda in the immigration. One of the reasons is because it directly affects a lot of Canadian citizens, and because of their family reunification, their parents and grandparents. Again, there was a lot of mismanagement with that program, okay, during the liberal period of governance. Then there has also been another thing which directly affects the Canadian citizens is the spousal sponsorships. So, again, that is something which also keeps coming up. Again, that is another application processing which takes a lot of time, and there still hasn't been a good way of managing that. Mind you, though, that after the last budget, and after having announced $750 million for the technological advancement within the immigration system, Liberals did put into place some way of making the immigration systems better. So now we are seeing in testing phase spousal sponsorship application, which can be filed online. That sort of will definitely cut away a few months from the processing time, because as of right now, the applications has to be mailed, paper applications has to be mailed in a package. They will then be scanned, put on the system, and then it is assigned to different officers to complete their work. It takes a bit of time. With the COVID, they were only delaying the opening up of packages. So it has sort of been a bit of a bone of contention for a lot of people who have been struggling, especially with the parents, grandparents, because of the fact that they could not reunite with the parents. Very, very long processing times, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Even today, it takes that much of time for parents, grandparents, a sponsorship application. Spousal sponsorship application also takes time. So these have been a bit of issues which have not been ironed out. And though Liberals are saying in their campaign that they will continue with the multi-year level plan for immigration. They will continue to, welcome refugees the way they have. They will continue to bring in more community-specific immigration programs, province-specific immigration programs like they did with RNIP and AIPP. And that's basically been their agenda. What else have I got? Let's talk about the Conservatives, right? So what are Conservatives talking about? Now, what I have on screen for you is their manifesto from their platform, and they again, Conservatives have one thing that I would like to sort of say here is that none of the political parties except one, and we will talk about that one as well, has basically said anything against immigration. So none of the parties are saying, okay, immigration is bad, except one. None of them, other than one, are saying that immigration is bad and we should cut down on immigration and this is bad for the country, etc., etc. So anybody else out there who is thinking about immigration and wondering what impact it's going to have, you can rest assured that no matter which political party comes into power, comes into governance, they all are in the favor of immigration, of increasing the immigration, improving the systems, bringing in new technology in place, bringing in the new systems in place. So that is one thing which you should sort of rest assured about. There is though one party which has been a bit anti-immigration, not entirely anti-immigration, but they have been a bit as though we should reduce the numbers, we should not bring in so many people, we should make the process times a bit more, stringent in terms of only high value people should come into the country, reduce the numbers to 150,000 instead of all these big numbers. But the good thing is that they did not win any seat in 2019. And I'm talking about the People's Party of Canada, PPC, Maxime Bernier being their party leader. They didn't win anything in 2019. And it is absolutely unlikely that they're going to come to power in this year's situation either. But that has been their talk. And let me see if I can find their, yes, I can find that. Before I get on to the more promising ones, let me just talk about this one and show you what they're talking. So this is their platform, People's Party of Canada, and while they have the issues and the facts listed over here, their plan is to substantially lower the total number of immigrants and refugees to Canada from 350 to between 100 to 150,000. I'm sure nobody is looking to vote for them with that kind of an understanding. But mind you, there are obviously a lot of people in Canada who still, I'm sure they are a bit of the belief that immigration is not good for the country, which I'm not sure why they would be misled to believe something like that. They also feel that the new immigrants are taking away their jobs, which is also incorrect and bit of a misguidance in their minds. I'm not sure who's fueling that, but there is always going to be that kind of a feeling. So these kind of again, as I said, it's my personal opinion, but something like this only adds to that sentiment and adds to that feeling of misunderstanding against the immigration. So again, this party is saying that they will reform the immigration point system and only accept large portion of economic immigrants with right skills. Okay, they want to accept fewer refugees. They want to abolish the programs for parents and grandparents. They want to limit the number of immigrants accepted under the family reunification program. They want to limit the number of temporary foreign workers. I'm not sure how they intend to make the country run with such draconian thought in terms of wanting to, restrict immigration, because as we all understand and already know that Canada depends to a large extent on immigration in terms of economy, in terms of the numbers, in terms of making up for the population increases, and this is what it is. They changed the law to make birth tourism illegal, which is all right, which is fair, and ensure that every candidate for immigration undergoes a face-to-face interview, again, increasing more workload, increasing more processes. That is what this party is talking about. And as I said, they did not win a single seat in 2019, and it's highly, highly unlikely that they're going to come anywhere close to even a minority setup in this year's elections. So I wanted to get that one out of the way before I continue talking about the others, because this one definitely is not going anywhere. All right, let me talk to you about the conservatives. As I was talking now, conservatives actually do have a reasonable plan that they have been talking about, and that's a good plan. Conservatives are of the opinion, and again, as I said, if you wish to read more about their manifesto and their platform, I will post the links of their plans in the description box. You can always go and check that at a later time and read about that. So they are talking about administrative backlogs. They want to reduce the backlogs. They want to sort of identify how they can improve the processing times. One thing that they are recommending is to add additional fee to be paid by applicants. So basically, something like what England does, something what UK does, something what some other countries do, is that they charge you a premium for express processing of your application, for a fast processing of your applications. So that is what conservatives are also recommending. And they are saying that if you charge additional fee for people who want to get their application processed faster, they will be able to use that money to hire more staff to obviously process the application faster. But what that is going to do is not only will the applications for those people get faster, but now because those applications are out of the pool, because obviously those have been processed, the other people who are waiting in the pool, they will also see significant faster timing, and therefore benefit for everybody, and there is no cost to the taxpayer. So yeah, makes sense. Good idea. I mean, I would definitely support something like that. Yeah, charge a premium, and I'm sure so many of you who are waiting for some very serious amount of time for their processing, a lot of you won't mind paying some extra premium to get your processing done faster, because at the time, at any given point of time, there is a cost of opportunity, cost of time. And if your process gets done faster, well, hello, you can pay extra if they have to. So yeah, they want to allow applicants to pay a fee to have their processing expedited. What else have they have? They want to fix the broken visitor visa system. Now, again, what they are saying is that it's very unfair the way the visit visa applications are processed at this point of time. They also have a question as to where the lot of TRVs are processed at this point of time, and they feel there is a lot of bias there. There is a lot of arbitrary denial of visitor visas, and even of people whose families want to come to Canada for important family events, even they get refused. So they want to sort of bring a more structured TRV system or a visitor visa system, therefore, allowing for better approvals over there. They say this would be able to help ensure oversight, fairness, and accountability, because they would install a more fair immigration system and also make the visa officers more accountable into recording every single information in detail as to why are they approving, why are they refusing, what was the reason for refusal. Again, I find this to be quite promising. I find this to be quite interesting in terms of this definitely gives a lot of understanding and room for people to know what exactly is going on with their application. Moving forward, conservatives also want to scrap the lottery system that is in place for the parents-grandparents system, parents-grandparents program, and they want to replace it to first come, first serve model. Now, I don't really think that is going to work, because liberals also tried to do this first come, first serve, and the system crashed. Only few people were able to submit their applications, and then there was, by and large, a lot of hue and cry with that system, because a lot of people were not able to submit, and people said that if somebody was not able to type fast, if somebody was not able to access the system because of the internet speeds, etc., they should not be discriminated against somebody who was able to do faster. So this first come first serve program that conservatives want to bring about in the parents and grandparents program, that is something which we will have to see how that is taken care of. In addition to that, they are also looking to allow family members of Canadians to live in Canada for up to 5 years without permanent status. Family members would be able to renew their status for additional time as long as they purchase the health insurance. Again, something very, very interesting there. If that comes into play, then you could see, a lot of spousal sponsorship applications where people are struggling to reunite with their spouses just because their visit visas are not approved, just because the system or the whole immigration application process takes such a long time. They will definitely be able to benefit from something like that. There is also the family reunification. The conservatives, I just spoke to you about them allowing them with the 5-year plan, and then the lottery system they want to bring, scrap that. Super visas, they also want to, try and improve that process of super visa and try and make it. Again, you see, all these are directly addressed towards the Canadian citizens, where it makes a big difference to them to see reunited with their family, reunited with their parents, reunited with their spouses, and therefore that makes a lot of difference in how the whole process will be handled. All good stuff here. Paths to permanence, again, they want to offer more ways for international students, temporary workers to arrive in Canada with aspirations to become Canadians. So again, they want to sort of give more importance there as well. In addition to that, they want to reform the Canada's broken refugee system. Again, they're also looking at reformatting the way they do provide sponsorships, joint sponsorships for the refugees, and make it more easier for the people who are running away from persecution and sort of making Canada their home as a refugee. So they want to make a system a bit more better. There's a lot of good information on this platform for them. As of right now, to be very honest, conservatives, whatever they are proposing in terms of the immigration systems, in terms of the immigration plans, that is all looking very, very promising. Not to say that they are against immigration. As I already said, none of the parties are against the immigration system numbers except the one which I showed it to you already. So conservatives are actually proposing some very interesting factors. They're proposing increasing processing, or rather improving the processing timings. They're talking about bringing more technological changes. They want to make everything online. They want to make everything, so that you have a good point of view of what's happening with your application. They're talking a lot about the parents, grandparents. They're talking a lot about family reunification. They're talking a lot about restructuring the refugees application processing. All good. To be very honest, on their platform, on their manifest, I did not find anything except for the first come, first serve parent, grandparent sponsorship. I'm not sure how that will pan out. But apart from that, I did not find anything which was like, or cringing, like, don't do that. Considering in the past, I mean, again, historically, and I'm going to only refer to what has happened in the past. In the past, conservatives have been quite difficult with the immigration. They have actually taken some steps which push the whole thing backwards, right? So it's a bit scary factor. And how you refer to the unknown devil is better than the unknown one. For most of us who are seeing the immigration within the last 5, 6, 7 years, we haven't really seen, at least I haven't personally witnessed conservative rule in terms of the governance and how they actually behaved. So I'm a bit wary of what is being said and what will transpire. And known devil, now you already know this devil, which is the Liberals, and how they have been performing, how they have been promising, how they have been projecting, except for the fact of how badly the applications are being handled over the last year and a half in terms of delays. Apart from that, it has been quite progressive. It has been quite open. It has been quite moving forward, advancing towards better things to come. So again, I know this part of the governance. I understand what they are doing. I understand where they're going. So I feel a bit more comfortable. But as they say, right, better things are found outside your comfort zone. So maybe there is time for this comfort zone to go. Who knows, right? I mean, we will know once the elections take place and once that happens. But before we get on to that, let's talk about the other two parties also, and at the same time, understand what they are talking about. So this is the platform for the Bloc Québécois, and Yves Francois Blanchet is the political leader. I'm sorry, this is in French. I could not find the English version of this at all, and I don't really understand a lot of French, so I had to resort to some other English platform where I could understand what they were trying to see, what they were trying to say. But again, because this party is mainly a Quebec-based nationalist party. Okay. So their views are more related to Quebec-based immigration systems, and they've always wanted Quebec to be its own country, separate from Canada. That has been one of the fundamental things, and I don't want to get into that part of the politics at this point of time. But it is often said that the Bloc is center-left on the political spectrum, whereas the Conservatives are center-right. Okay, and this party only has the candidates in Quebec riding because they have Quebec sovereignty at heart of their agenda. Therefore, this party does not have members in the riding in other parts of Canada, but it's only Quebec based. But because they do have a significant number of members who form the government at some point of time, whether it's on the minority side, therefore their understanding of the system also comes into play. And where did we go with this? So yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add from their side, from this particular party, except for the fact that they do want to improve their own immigration system, which obviously makes sense. I mean, if they're trying to promote their program or their party and look for interest of Quebec, then yeah, they would be looking to do that at this point of time. I also then have the third one, which I want to talk to you about. And no, this was, hold on a minute. Let me get to, yes. And that is the final party that I want to talk to you about in today's session. And this is about the NDP, the New Democratic Party, headed by Jagmeet Singh. Now, Jagmeet Singh or new NDP were part of the coalition which formed the government, current government with the Liberals, and they also have quite progressive views in terms of immigration. They obviously want to sort of create a more fair system. They are looking at ways of resettling refugees in a much better manner. They understand that there has been a huge backlog. And again, you see, a new Democrat government will fix the system to get rid of the backlog. So as you can see, most of the parties have identified the frustration amongst people of the backlog. You see here, again, we believe that the family reunification should be a priority in Canada. This year, thousands of families we hope to bring, they were let down. You see, there were long backlogs, delays in reunification. So all the parties have identified the mess that has been created by the Liberals in terms of poor handling of the application. And that in turn has become their agenda in promoting their campaign. And even for the NDP, they are obviously also promoting the fact that they want to bring in more people. They want to sort of continue to add to the number of immigrants coming to Canada. They also want to promote the family reunification. But one thing that only they have identified and not the other parties is that they want to come down heavily on the illegal immigration consultants, on the illegal immigration providers or people out there who are scamming people, unscrupulous immigration agents out there. And that is the only party who is addressing that part of the issue. They also basically, NDP is also talking about wanting to give status to the caregivers and their families, because they feel that the caregivers are obviously big part of the Canadian economy, Canadian system, and they do help a lot of Canadians by way of providing that service. So that is the other aspect of NDP. As I said, also very promising in terms of forward thinking, but I'm not sure to what extent would they actually be part of the government going forward. That, my friends, was a basic synopsis of what the immigration is looking like come the elections are done. Once again, I want to remove that doubt in your heads of people who have been saying that this, because of elections, the backlogs were created. Well, elections were announced only in August, but the backlogs have been piling up for many more months before that. So they are not connected with each other. The draws are also not connected to the elections, because if that was the case, then they won't be holding CEC draws also. Mind you, all the draws that are happening, those people are not Canadian citizens. They will just become permanent residents, so they don't really have the opportunity of casting a vote or a ballot and choosing their leader. So at this point of time, it's not like if the government was going to favor the federal skilled workers or CECs or PNPs, they would directly benefit out of it. It's not like that. All these people who are going to be coming to Canada, they're part of a very important understanding that immigration is extremely valuable. It is extremely progressive as far as the country is concerned, because if it was not for immigration, Canada would go into the minus growth rate over a period of time. Not to mention, as they bring in the younger workforce, younger people to Canada, that continues to add to the fact of more tax-paying individuals. You don't have to forget the country is running on taxes, right? And Canada, mind you, is one country where the tax bracket is or the tax component is quite high. I mean, a normal average person would easily pay between 46 to 52% of their income in direct or indirect taxes. So you can understand how important the tax is. And if a lot of your population was going to retire and was going to become into the senior citizen category, where they would be taking more benefits than paying anything back to the government, well, where is the government going to get the money to pay for those senior citizens, for their health care, for their well-being? So they need new people. They need the people. So immigration is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere this year. It's not going anywhere in the next 5 years. It's not going anywhere in the next 25 years. So, whoever has got that kind of a thought, please do not worry about that. The one party which is against increasing the immigration numbers, why, I don't understand, because the quota or the plan that they have in their mind, that will bring Canada into the negative growth, which doesn't help anybody. So I'm not sure what their understanding is. I'm not sure who is giving them this kind of advice, but it's quite obvious they didn't get any seats in 2019. I don't think they're going much ahead in 2021 either. But let's see how that goes. Again, the fight is going to be between these two main parties, Conservatives and the Liberals. It's going to be either one of them who is definitely going to come back and form the government, with or without the support of the third party, which could be either the Quebec party, the Bloc Québécois, or the Bloc Québécois. I keep mispronouncing that. I'm sorry, I'm not French. My language is not the best, but so it's going to be in coalition or in association with them or the NDP. So these four parties, in combination with one or two or on their own with Conservatives or Liberals, are going to form the government. I've already discussed with you the Conservative plan, and as I said, it looks very promising. It looks very progressive. It looks, it has a lot of factors that could benefit everybody, whether it's the Canadian citizens today or the new aspiring immigrants who probably will be making Canada their home. Also, mind you, whatever is the result of the result of the elections come 20th of September, there will be no immediate changes. So it's not like from 21st September or 30th September, you will see policy being changed, you will see immigration plans being changed. No, it won't happen. It will take few months for the new, if it's a new immigration minister or for a new governance to sort of take place, figure out what they want to do. Mind you, October or November will come with the new immigration plans, new immigration quotas. Since Liberals have already put a multi-year plan in place, I am sure that will continue. So you will see the new government, whether it's Liberal, Conservatives or the coalition, they will continue making these multi-year level plans, and we were waiting to see what the year 2024 is being projected as. I personally feel there will be year-on-year growth as being added, because that is how it makes sense. But I would also like to see how they are looking at the provincial level immigration programs. Provincial level immigration programs are extremely, extremely important for Canada. Each province has an agreement with the federal government to choose and decide who they wish to sort of bring into their province, who they want to sort of nominate for their province. I expect to see those numbers going up. For this year, I think it's about 80,000 approximately, give or take few, as the annual quota for this year. I expect to see that number going up significantly. There are lots of pilot programs already: Atlantic immigration, rural northern immigration. There is also another one coming which was being planned. It obviously didn't take effect because liberals are now at this point of time very shaky in the whole process. So that was the municipal level, absolutely coming down to the more macro levels. At the municipal level, they wanted to give the municipalities an opportunity to select people who they could nominate. So now it has moved away from the province. From province, it came down to the communities. From the communities, now they even bringing it further down to the municipal level. But we don't know if that is going to come into play or not, because we have to wait and see who comes into power, forms the government, and then takes it forward. But all things said and done, it's all looking promising. So don't please fret, don't worry as to what will happen with the elections. It definitely, based on their campaigns, based on their manifestos, based on what they're promising, it all looks fine. Whether it's conservatives, whether it's the liberals, if you know the way they're going, they'll be fine. Conservatives, if they're going to put all these plans in action, and I'm looking forward to some of them, well, then that would also be very, very progressive, the way it looks like. Well, that's all from me. This is what I want to discuss with you and sort of quash some of these rumors that are going on. If you wish to get an appointment with me to discuss your application, your queries, your concerns one-on-one, then this is the link. Please, by all means, book an appointment, and we'll be happy to chat and give you some options and suggestions as to what you can do. Thank you so much for joining in. You guys are amazing. Keep the faith, keep the hope alive, and I shall see you next time.